Palestinian literature is more than just words on a page. It is a testament to survival, resistance, and the preservation of culture. Through decades of occupation and displacement, Palestinian writers have immortalized their experiences, using art, poetry, and storytelling as a means to resist erasure. This video explores 20 essential books that offer insight into the Palestinian struggle, their generational trauma, and the ongoing impacts of colonization. From fiction to essays and poetry, these works highlight the voices that refuse to be silenced, providing readers with a human lens to understand the history and resilience of Palestine. Palestinian arts, culture, and music have served as mechanisms of survival, immortalizing creative output as a form of resistance. Despite decades of occupation, Palestinians continue to share their stories, standing as symbols of dissidence against oppression. Legendary figures like cartoonist Naji, novelist Ghassan Kanafani, and writer Rafat al-Alarir have used their pens to galvanize resistance, even at the cost of their lives. Their revolutionary works echo beyond their deaths, cementing the importance of art in the struggle for identity and freedom. The phrase "existence is resistance" resonates deeply within Palestinian literature. Sharing stories and documenting their plight is an act of defiance, placing Palestinian voices at the forefront of dissidence. Despite the tragic loss of many authors, their works continue to inspire and educate, ensuring that their voices reverberate across generations. Commercially successful novels and children's books teach the history of Palestine from a human perspective, making the struggle accessible to both adults and young readers. Scholars like Edward Said, Pappé, Baconi, and journalist Gideon Levy provide critical perspectives on the political dynamics of occupation. Their works do not sugarcoat the reality of Israel's brutalities, instead offering nuanced analyses of colonialism, displacement, and the formation of Palestinian identity. These books are essential for understanding the complexities of the conflict and the ongoing struggle for justice and recognition. Edited by Jehad Abusalim, Lighting Gaza is an anthology of narrative essays that break the intellectual blockade and political exclusion of Palestinian voices. Writers recount their experiences living in the besieged Gaza Strip, detailing displacement and the use of art as resistance. Rafat al-Alarir shares childhood memories of throwing stones, while Masab Abu Toha emphasizes the importance of cultural spaces. Sma Abu Mezid reflects on Gazans recording their strength and vulnerability, capturing both disappointment and rage at the world's silence. Edward Said's The Question of Palestine gave Palestinians a voice and identity in a world that often reduced them to caricatures or erased their existence. Said examines the historic presence of Palestinians, the impact of Zionist settler colonialism, and the emergence of collective identity. His groundbreaking book, published in 1979, remains relevant today, affirming Palestinian existence and exposing Zionism as colonialism. Said's eloquent writing challenges narratives that deny Palestinian history, emphasizing the unstoppable movement of the oppressed reclaiming their rights. Ghassan Kanafani, spokesperson for the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, is renowned for his modernist stories exploring war, exile, and generational trauma. His novellas and short stories capture the rage, despair, and melancholy of Palestinians living in refugee camps, confronting emotional strife and crossing borders for survival. Kanafani's works resist simplistic protest narratives, presenting Palestinians as complex individuals. Tragically, his popularity made him a target, and he was killed by Mossad agents in 1972, but his literary legacy endures. Naji al-Ali's iconic cartoon character, Handala, represents the poorest and most powerless Palestinian. Handala, a 10-year-old boy with his back turned, symbolizes the perpetual displacement and inability to return home. Al-Ali's cartoons, published across the Middle East, fueled Palestinian nationalism and are collected in A Child in Palestine. Despite being shot in London in 1987, Al-Ali's legacy lives on, with Handala remaining a powerful symbol of resistance and hope for return. Khaled's autobiography, My People Shall Live, traces her journey from displacement in Haifa to becoming an iconic face of Palestinian resistance. Khaled recounts the betrayal by Arab leaders and the symbolic importance of Palestine in international movements. Her passionate voice reveals how she became a revolutionary, prepared to die for liberation. The book blends history, political propaganda, and memoir, offering a unique perspective on the struggle for freedom. Dania Shibli's Minor Detail is a haunting novel focusing on the rape and murder of a Bedouin girl by Israeli soldiers in 1949. Written in sparse prose, the book reads like a psychological thriller, letting silence speak volumes. Decades later, a Palestinian researcher investigates this forgotten detail, highlighting the pain of occupation and the lapses in words. Shibli's work was long-listed for the International Booker Prize, but faced censorship, underscoring the challenges Palestinian authors encounter. Hala Alyan's Salt Houses is a lyrical novel following an upper-middle-class Palestinian family across 3 generations. Beginning in Nablus in 1963, the story unravels through the perspectives of various family members, stretching from Palestine to Kuwait and eventually Jaffa. Alyan, a psychologist, explores the human cost of war and displacement, using empathy to challenge falsehoods about Palestinian existence. The novel's vignette-like chapters offer intimate glimpses into the enduring power of memory and identity. Najwan Darwish's poetry collection, Nothing More to Lose, is marked by acute sensitivity and intense emotion. His poems cover the horrors of occupation, grief, and hope, referencing ancient and modern events. Darwish's work is thoroughly contemporary, depicting the realities of today's occupation and connecting shared pain across communities. His writing is both visceral and reflective, making it difficult to look away from the truths he presents. Levy's The Punishment of Gaza documents the suffering of everyday Palestinians under missile attacks, bomb blasts, and airstrikes. Levy's narrative journalism captures the tragedy of Gazans losing family members or becoming disabled, offering empathetic and detailed accounts. He questions whether anything can stop the ongoing violence, highlighting the urgent need for change and the resilience of those living in Gaza. Edited by Abusalim, the Book of Gaza collects short stories from Gazan writers, reflecting the brevity imposed by daily violence and printing restrictions. These stories traverse love, loss, human interactions, and the reality of living in an open-air prison. The personal and political blend seamlessly, offering powerful snapshots of life in Gaza and the resilience of its people. Baconi's Hamas Contained traces the roots of Hamas from the First Intifada to its rise as a political organization. Baconi blends creative nonfiction with political commentary, examining Islamic nationalism, key historical events, and the decline of secular resistance. His authoritative account challenges readers to view Hamas as a genuine political force, shaped by social welfare and disappointment in the Palestinian Authority. Pappé's 10 Myths About Israel debunks foundational myths, fueling the erasure and genocide of Palestinians. Pappé contests the idea that Palestine was empty before 1917, detailing the thriving Arab society and acts of ethnic cleansing. He also critiques the failure of the Oslo Accords and the rise of Hamas, concluding that a binational one-state solution is the only hope for peace. The book is concise yet powerful, offering a factual counter-narrative to mainstream discourse. Mohammed El-Kurd's Rifka uses poetic verse to tell a semi-autobiographical account of life in Sheikh Jarrah, Jerusalem. El-Kurd documents the theft of his home by settlers, growing up amidst checkpoints and daily harassment. His keen wit and emotional depth shine through, making him one of the most visible Palestinians today. The book is named after his grandmother, older than the State of Israel, and reflects the generational impact of displacement. Suheir Hammad memoir, Sharon and My Mother-in-Law, collects diaries from 1981 to 2004, blending humor and personal anecdotes. Hammad recounts her move to Ramallah, teaching architecture and navigating the absurdities of occupation. Her warm, funny voice uses humor to cope with tension, especially during Israel's attack on the occupied territories. The memoir offers a unique, relatable perspective on daily life under occupation. Susan Abulhawa's Mornings in Jenin is a multi-generational saga about a Palestinian family displaced from Ein Had to Jenin. The story follows Hassan and Leila, their children, and the tragedies they endure, including massacres and identity loss. Inspired by Abulhawa's eyewitness account of the Jenin refugee camp, the novel brings the tragedy of ethnic cleansing to life, traversing wars and uprisings with empathy and dynamic prose. Suheir Hammad's poetry expresses her identity as a Palestinian-American woman, growing up in Brooklyn's multicultural community. Her work, featured on Def Jam Poetry, channels hope amidst suffering, reflecting the fracture of Palestinian identity. Hammad's poems are both a call to action and a depiction of the Palestinian experience, blending emotions and senses in a disjointed style. Her writing resonates with themes of resistance and belonging. Ganime's children's book, These Olive Trees, tells the story of a little girl's love for her homeland through olive picking. The book highlights the importance of olive trees in Palestinian life, symbolizing roots and resilience. Simple yet stunning illustrations make the story accessible for children, even as the protagonist must abandon her trees due to war. The book offers a gentle introduction to the realities of displacement. Leila Abdelrazek's graphic novel, Badawi, documents Ahmed's coming of age in a Palestinian refugee camp in Lebanon. The black and white illustrations capture life-changing political events, cluster bombs, and raids, while also showing moments of childhood joy. The story is based on Abdelrazek's father's childhood, blending nonfiction with artistic expression. Badawi is reminiscent of Persepolis, offering a visual and emotional journey through displacement. Mahmoud Darwish, one of the greatest Arabic poets, vocalized Palestinian struggles in poems likening the loss of land to the fall from heaven. Mural explores themes of death, martyrdom, and resurrection, reflecting on displacement and the rite of return. Darwish's life journey took him from Israel to the Soviet Union, Egypt, and Lebanon, where he became involved with the Palestine Liberation Organization. His poetry remains a cornerstone of Palestinian cultural identity. Edward Said's Reflections on Exile collects essays spanning his upbringing, literary criticism, and the evolution of Arabic literature. Said reflects on the nature of the Palestinian liberation struggle, exploring themes of hopelessness and defiance. The book threads the sense of never belonging, examining how causes can seem lost but are sustained by individual thinkers. Said's writing signals hope for liberation as long as defiance exists. Books featured in this video collectively address the cultural erasure and generational trauma faced by Palestinians. Through stories, poetry, and memoirs, authors document the impacts of colonization, displacement, and ongoing brutalization. Their works serve as a record of resilience, ensuring that Palestinian culture and history are preserved for future generations. Literature becomes a tool for healing and remembrance. Storytelling is a powerful force in Palestinian literature, enabling authors to convey complex emotions and experiences. Whether through fiction, poetry, or graphic novels, these stories humanize the Palestinian struggle, making it accessible and relatable. The act of sharing stories is itself a form of resistance, challenging dominant narratives and affirming the existence of a people often erased from history. Palestinian literature serves as a bridge between cultures, offering readers around the world a window into the realities of occupation, displacement, and resilience. By engaging with these books, readers gain a deeper understanding of the Palestinian experience, fostering empathy and solidarity. Literature connects people across borders, reminding us of our shared humanity. Palestinian authors often face censorship, political exclusion, and threats to their safety. Despite these challenges, they continue to write, publish, and share their stories. The resilience of these writers is evident in their commitment to truth and justice, even when their works are disinvited from international events or targeted by oppressive regimes. Their courage ensures that Palestinian voices remain heard. As the ongoing siege and bombings in Gaza continue, the urgency to highlight Palestinian voices in art, culture, and literature grows. These books are not just stories, they are calls for justice, remembrance, and resistance. By reading and sharing these works, we contribute to the preservation of Palestinian history and the amplification of voices that demand recognition and rights. 20 books featured in this video represent a legacy of resistance, resilience, and remembrance. Palestinian literature continues to inspire, educate, and challenge readers, ensuring that the stories of displacement, trauma, and hope are never forgotten. As we reflect on these works, we recognize the power of literature to shape narratives, foster empathy, and build bridges across cultures. The legacy of Palestinian writers endures, lighting the path for future generations.